Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going on a short adventure. We're heading down to a new airport that's available on the marketplace, and it's a beautiful little PNW airport, Siku. Probably mispronounced, but it is out on the coast just past Cortez, and it is 11 Sierra. And it's quite a popular one from the past in previous simulators. We're going to head over there today. It's a short little flight, just about under 30 minutes, and we're taking out the JustFlight Arrow. So this will be a good opportunity for a little real jaunt in this plane and see how it really takes. So we're basically set up here. We just need to start the engines essentially. So it's a case of boost pumps on. And you know, has this actually registered my buttons? It has, yes. No, it hasn't. Okay. Okay, so it works, but the buttons don't actually actuate. That's a weird thing with the honeycomb yoke system. Okay, good start. So let's knock off the boost pumps there. Knock ourselves back to both on our mags. So we're set up for departure here. So remember 403 Sierra X-ray, taxi for departure, runway 34. Okay, we're going to get ourselves out to the runway now and hold short. We'll do a couple of quick checks, then we'll get ourselves en route. Shouldn't be too long a trip today. We're routing via the Victoria International VOR, which is north of their field. We're going to be staying within the right airspace boundaries for this one. I may need to go up a little bit more than I thought, but we'll be just fine. So we'll be aiming for 4,500 feet initially to go past that, and once we clear the airspace from Victoria, we should be good to drop down. So we'll have a nice little flight over the sound, and we'll have a beautiful little arrival into Siku, which is a gorgeous little single runway airport out on the coast. Tiny little place, gorgeous Pacific Northwest scenery, so this should be a really pretty adventure today. Right, let's quickly hold the brakes. Let me get rid of the yoke so I can see what I'm looking at here. So a bit of a drop, but we're okay. Alright. So everything is dialed in and ready to rock and roll here. We're using the 530 in the aircraft. Orcas traffic. Remember 403 Sierra X-ray entering runway 34. Departure to the north. Okay, keep an eye out for traffic. Oh, we went a little bit deep there as we approached the runway, but we are good to go. So power on. Let's get this baby moving. The Arrow and the Piper series have always been really friendly airplanes to fly, so this should be a lovely little trip. Not going to bother with the autopilot today, but it should be an enjoyable little ride. Let's ease her off the runway. Nice and simple there. Oh, hello. A little bit of trim. Let's pull the gear. And we will pull the flaps in. Nose drops as it should. And we'll just ease her up here. There we go. So a gorgeous little sightseeing trip today should be our overall reward for this. But it's really a good chance to kick the tires on the JustFlight Arrow and really get some enjoyment out of this thing. Okay, we'll keep ourselves on course here. Maintain our climb. We'll just knock the power back a notch. There we go. We'll depart on course as soon as we clear pattern altitude. And that is us heading out from Orcas. I've been experimenting with a couple of different head tracking softwares, including one on my iPad which uses the face recognition software. I don't like it, so I'm going to be looking for a Track IR set. I know you guys prefer watching stuff with that. Is my plan eventually. Alright, let's roll this baby on course. Okay. Alright, so we're looking for 4,500 feet on track, so this should be good. We'll use that island ahead of us as reference. Mostly use the GPS just for a kind of a visual aid more than anything else. I'm not going to rely on it for navigation here, as it is very bright up ahead of us. So let's maintain our climb here. We're heading for 2,000 now. Let's drop the nose slightly. Maintain about 750 climb. So, actually we are going to be direct on track a little bit too quickly, so I might as well just turn a little bit more to the north. Keep on the end of that island ahead of us. So yeah, the JustFlight Arrow, I have really loved this since getting it. It's a gorgeous plane and it handles beautifully. It's something I really enjoy flying, and it really gives probably one of the best feelings of a Piper aircraft that I've had in the simulators to date. So we have got our VOR tracking as well. Always like to have more than one system looking at things. So we're heading for the Juliet, the Yankee Juliet marker, the VOR, which is just to the north of Victoria International. In fact, it's on the island above it, so that makes things a little bit easier. We are going to be inside the Charlie, so I'll need to think about requesting permission for that. Obviously, we don't have a real tower because the flight sim tower's annoying. I can use it though. Should I use it? Nah. So what's the approach frequency for these guys? Let's get that dialed in, shall we? Frequencies. Hello. Right, we go. Cool. Cruising, of course. Alright, so I'm going to need one... No, I need their approach. So, wrong location there. Let's quickly go to Yankee Juliet. Frequencies. As I keep drifting to the south. I'm going to have to turn on course now. Okay. Let's bring her around a little bit here. Coming through 3,000. Let's drop our climb off a little bit here. So we're looking for 125.95 for arrival. 125.95. There we go. Nearly dialed in. I can never see with this screen. It's always the thing that annoys me. Okay, there we go. Victoria arrival, November 403, Sierra X-rays type Piper Arrow. With you 3,700. VFR. Requesting transit, Charlie. Roger, maintain fly 4,500. Transit Charlie to the north. November 403, Sierra X-ray. Okay, so we are on track now for the island ahead of us, which should be passing to the north here of Victoria, which will be to our south there. Should be nice and easy for us. Drop the nose down here a little bit more, reduce our climb to 500 feet a minute. We're heading through 4,000 now, so we're looking good. Let's pull back on the mix a little bit here. So we're a little bit higher than we'd like to be, but we have to get through decent altitude here for the Charlie airspace. Okay. Coming up on our cruise altitude for this part of the journey. We'll be dropping down once we clear the Charlie. In fact, annoyingly, because of the location here, until we cross the lake, well, when we turn on track for the next segment of the journey, we're going to see a lake just inside the inshore from where we're going. That lake is just past the border of the Charlie, so once we're clear of that, we're going to probably drop it down to about 2.5. So we're still flying VFR, but we'll be clear enough to drop down. Okay, oh, there we go. Just boinged past it by 100 feet or so, so let's lower our nose down. This plane is being a little spirity. This thing does love to climb. The Arrow is so streamlined compared to every Piper I've flown. They've all been fixed gear models, so it's been very different as an experience. So yeah, that ahead of us should mark the beacon we're heading for. Let's drop the nose down a tiny touch more here, so we at least get some descent in flight. Pull some power off as well. So Victoria should be down there. Nope, that'll be it, over there. So, that one over there, so down at the bottom. Okay, we are bang on course here. And we're still climbing, because this thing really likes that. Let's focus on getting our altitude set properly here. Because we're coming up on 5,000 feet, which is too high. There we go. Start descending, baby, that's it. Pull some more power off, get the nose to come down. This thing loves to climb. I love flying in this area of the world because it's just so beautiful out here. There's such variety of islands and the ocean and beautiful forests. It's a gorgeous place to actually enjoy Flight Simulator World. There we go. Come on. Use that nose down. This thing does not want to descend. Okay, we've got a good 500 feet per minute descent. We'll lock it off in a moment. As we build speed from descending, we're starting to climb again. Aerodynamics. So to pull back more power to maintain that descent rate and give it more trim, which builds more speed, which makes the plane want to climb again. Let's put some power on and bring the nose up. There we go. Bingo. Locked it in. Not quite. A bit more power. We'll adjust our cruise based on that. Come on. Bring your nose up. Thank you. That's nice and steady. Okay. So, a little bit north of our track, but that's not a major issue. I think we're still aiming for where the beacon is right now. We should put us... Let's get rid of that. Approaching these islands to the north here of Victoria. This thing can't decide where it wants to be. Yeah, 4,500 feet isn't my favourite place to fly, but it makes things a little bit more efficient when we're trying to just get past this airspace a little bit quicker. And the plane doesn't want to do it nicely for me. Never does. Okay, so we're coming for the tip of one of these islands. And we're just to the north here, so I'm expecting the beacon's essentially on a hill there. So we're going to turn south towards that, which should put us straight on course for our turning point, where we'll start to head more south and we'll go across the sound towards Siku. Now, there's been a lot of airports released recently in the sim that have really brought some variety to things and some really exciting little places, and they've separated things out now to regional, local and international airports in the marketplace, which is really cool to be able to find exactly the kind of places you want to fly. And they've done some separation on aircraft. Also, interesting news, Orbx is releasing a plane themselves, which is that weird one with the kind of ducted fan and the glass bubble cockpit. I forget what it's called, but it's kind of cool, and I will definitely be getting one. So that's our track change there, and there's Victoria to our south. You can just make it out my window there. So that'll be Victoria International. Very nice. Okay, so once we get past here, we see that lake in our distance. As soon as we hit that lake, we can descend. So that lake over there is my descent point. You can tell I'm so used to bush flying, I'm almost barely used to flying normally, like a human being anymore. I'm used to operating in the middle of nowhere where everything's based on visual references and turn left at the next valley, you know, right at the big mountain peak that's trying to, like, you know, force you to land on it. It's a very different world of flying. I must have several thousand sim hours up in the bush of British Columbia and Alaska. It's a very weird experience to be flying a lovely little nice GA plane down here. And it's been a long time since I've flown anything in real life, so it definitely makes things a little bit... takes some getting used to. Yeah. I'm not being buffeted around by ridiculously strong winds, and I'm able to fly the plane normally, which makes a nice change. But getting back behind the yoke of an Arrow is gorgeous. Never flown an actual Arrow type myself. I've flown Pipers before, notably in Warriors, but they're very similar, just much more slippery. I'm used to kind of hefting the Warrior around and keeping that thing behaving itself, which is a very different beast to the Arrow, which wants to go anywhere. Super responsive, super slippery. Still the same old family station wagon, but, you know, it works. It's a little different in that regard. So we've got a bit of headwind, I think, we're looking at right now, because we're ground speed of 105 knots, which is quite extensively slower than we are meant to be travelling at. So that's not great. Okay, that was weird. I had my flight sim SMH. Let's tree trim for the correct speed now. I had my prop pitch fully forward in the cockpit in my actual sim, and flight sim didn't recognize that, and I just looked down at my quadrant there in the sim, and it's all the way back. And I'm like, wait, what? This is why I was traveling so slowly, folks. We were literally running super course. Oh, God. That's great. That is wonderful. Okay. We're about at our turning point now. There's Victoria off our wing. And there's the lake ahead of us. Now we're picking up some speed. And we are climbing like a bat out of hell. Let's nullify that. Point the nose down. Yeah, suddenly got a big burst of speed and this thing just wants to go for the clouds. Okay. Turning on course. You know, 4,500 isn't looking like a bad number now as we approach these hills. Let's take a quick look at what our altitudes are. 6.5 in some places. Okay. So I'm actually going to want to maintain altitude here. Come on, down you come. Down you come. Nice and easy. Oh, I feel like such a moron getting the speed wrong there. I wondered why I was so slow. I thought maybe we've got a pretty much stiffer headwind than the weather said we would have, but no. Apparently the sim decided that it didn't want me to have propeller control, which is stupid. There we go. Lots of things to focus on here, but we'll soon be exiting the Charlie and able to decide what we want to do. So if we want to drop a bit further south, I should be able to. How am I getting all this information? Garmin Pilot. It is an amazing tool. Highly recommend. Really, really great for planning your flights and working out where you're going with things. And really, really works. Right, so our new course should be 215. Now I've got a bit of a bug here with the sim where it wants to decide it's only working in 10-degree increments, which is kind of strange. So that's the thing. Okay, we're good there. cruising over the coastline here. Got a good block of terrain here before we hit anything meaningful. This also appears to be playing the I just want to attach to a 10-degree increment game. Okay. There we go. We'll just dial that in with a little bit of power. And we should be able to ease off any grip on the yoke there, other than just a couple of fingers. And have nice control over altitude. Give it a bit more power to bring the nose up a little bit more. Take the edge off that and it should maintain its attitude. For now. And we've got a good set of speed going on here. 120 knots across the ground. Or thereabouts. And we're on track. So that is good. Okay, so it's a pretty long and straight run here as we head down towards Siku. So should just be a matter of running for about 18 minutes, it says here. Gotta say, 2020 is both a joy and a disappointment because I miss certain aircraft that I love flying, and there seem to be considerably more bugs with this than FSX ever had, and obviously P3D. Those platforms seem so much more stable. Why they couldn't take certain things from there and bring them to this, I don't know, but Asobo seems to have slowed down in fixing its bugs and notable issues in the sim, and I think I was kind of disappointed by the initial selection of aircraft. It felt like FSX had much wider scope, and it feels like Asobo's tried to appeal to more people and care less. Because there's a seaplane included by default, but it's a crappy one, and it's very much a half-assed attempt because there's no wake effects or spray when you're on the water, so it loses kind of a lot of the impact of being a float plane. And when FSX had a beaver, come on, first time you're not including that in a number of sims, really? No de Havilland beaver, really? And the fact that nearly everything has a glass cockpit, including half the Cubs, which, don't get me started on that, that feels wrong. It just feels like it's half-assed. Much, much better in some aspects, but technology is advanced, so it should be easier to do that. But it just feels worse in some regards. Like they didn't quite try as hard. And that's disappointing. It feels less of a hardcore sim, which means more and more as time goes by, I yearn to go back to P3D5. Which I may do at some point. Because I kind of miss it. X-Plane 11 I've bought, and I'm going to try it at some point for you folks, but I'm not sure how I'm going to like it. I will do a Flight Sim X user reacts something at some point, but it's definitely a very different experience. Okay, so that's our lake there. Or we've passed our lake. We can drop down, but the terrain says no. I could ditch 1,000 feet here, maybe, but not sure if it's worth it. I'd rather maintain the altitude till we hit the coast. Be a little bit safer for me. Now, the third-party market, as always, is doing amazing things for 2020, and it's looking amazing. I'm hoping they do some improvements to VR to make that a lot more potent, because having a VR headset, I'd love to use it in here. It'd be wonderful. But it feels so clunky and poorly made right now that it's a disappointment. Because I would hella record VR for you guys if I was able to. Although I'd have to have some sort of augmented reality capability for my Garmin Pilot. Because flying without Garmin Pilot feels really difficult. Like, it's such an amazing EFB tool that it's, and for those that aren't familiar, EFB, Electronic Flight Bag. Essentially, I have my charts, I have information, I have frequencies, I have map data, mapping tools, all to hand on an iPad, basically, which makes everything wonderful in terms of flying the airplane. Okay, heading over the... Okay, so we've definitely got some altitude to play with. I'm not going to drop it to 3,500 because I do feel that that might be a little bit spicy. Pull the prop pitch back there. We're raging on this thing. Had not adjusted that one yet. So one of the nice things about the sim, unless you have an aircraft that supports failures and they're turned on, it won't break. So you can run it like you stole it. Not advised, but possible. There we go. We are definitely heading into a headwind as far as I can tell. Try and balance all the factors here. Make the plane want to go zoom zoom. A little bit off course there, we'll just adjust it in. I'm still torn on satellite imagery. It's one of those things for me that's a yay and a nay. And I'm not sure where I lie with that, because at times it can look amazing, and at other times it can look terrible. So, it's... With the autogen, it definitely makes a big improvement, but there are times where it definitely looks more fake. But, considering we came from a world of textures, it's a significant improvement. It's just a little jarring at times. And I've noticed that the LOD distance is considerably lower in 2020. Like, I see drop-off in quality of the texture much closer, even though I'm on ultra settings, which feels really weird. But then again, I guess I'm trying to load a lot flying at GA altitudes. Okay, so we're coming up on the coastline here. Siku shouldn't be too far. We're looking at about 13 minutes until we arrive, which should be nice and easy. Nice and easy. There we go. And we'll drop it down to 2,500 as we cross the coastline here. Just want to maintain altitude here for these hills. Now the JustFlight Arrow is a beautiful cruiser. This entire flight has been hand on stick, hand on throttle, and it will take anything you throw at it. It really wants to behave nicely. It really wants to be a really sedate aircraft. It's nice. Really, really nice. Just a gentle machine. Classic Piper. Both JustFlight and Coronado have released updates for their arrows, so that is a thing. And I think JustFlight's made more progress and has way more functionality, so if you're going to pick one of the two, my decision is still on the JustFlight. It just feels like a much more rounded aircraft, and much, much more suitable. It's, overall, I think, a well-made add-on. A much more steep price, perhaps, but I think worth it. Definitely worth it. So, Siku's not too far away now as we cross over here. In fact, we'll spend less time crossing the sound here than we did crossing those mountains. In fact, if you look at the far coast, that's basically where the airport is. So, 11 Sierra, or Sekiu, as right now we've got 4 knots on runway 26 headwind. So, see, this is the thing I love about Garmin Pilot connected to the internet. It's fantastic. I get all my data. That's 1 hour old from the nearby METAR at Kilo Uniform India Lima. So that is our best weather from an hour ago. Viz is 22 nautical miles, wind from 207. Okay, so we're looking for 122.9 on the multicom, which is where we'll dial now. .22. Let's get this cranked in. Start dumping some altitude now as we can. Let's get 9 dialed in there. Okay, we're on frequency as we get a bit closer here. Let's keep the nose pointed downwards. We can descend now. Let's maintain about 500 feet per minute maximum. And monitor the throttle here as we go down. There we go. Okay. Bit more there, but that should, if I just leave things naturally, that'll start to reduce because as I again pick up speed, the air moves over the airfoil, creates more lift, so the plane goes up. That's why if you left it uncontrolled in a perfect world, even if you descended, you'd still go back up again. Then you'd porpoise up and down. Okay, so what runways have we got? We have asphalt 2,900 feet by 50 feet. So we're looking for 26 hardwood, full-time lights. No charts available, no fuel data available. Okay, we're kind of just winging this one. How am I climbing? No, we're coming through 4,000. We're descending. This is fine. Okay. Keep it coming, baby. Keep it coming. Really dump into speed now, but a little bit of extra head speed gets us moving a little bit faster, so I ain't gonna complain. So this is what I mean about the textures sometimes. That looks a bit weird. Not bad, but a bit weird. But overall it looks considerably better than it could do in other sims. Now looking at the pictures of this airport, I've not been here in the sim yet. This is my first time visiting this location in the sim, so you guys wanted to see it with me. But looking at the pictures on the marketplace, this place is my perfect, gorgeous little PNW airport, the sort of place I love flying into. And it should be exactly what we hoped for. I'm surprised Orbx haven't ported across a lot of their FSX and P3D airports that are in this area because, oh god, if I could get hold of, oh god, I forgot his name now. The old ranch, yeah. Israel's Farm, yes. Israel's Farm, oh, I'd be ecstatic. There's a gorgeous little place to fly. Okay, descending down over pretty glassy water here, so it's very easy to disorientate against this horizon. Coming through for 2,500. We'll block it off there. So we'll start to ease on the power. Bring the nose up. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, we're good to go. There we go. Nice. Steadied out at 2,500. So we should be looking for Siku ahead of us. The ocean below us is looking pretty calm. Or the sound, I should say. Not quite the ocean yet. Now a bit off to our side there. Look at how quickly the LED drops off. It's kind of weird. Gorgeous. Sim's still jerky at times, which with a powerful gaming computer I'm still disappointed about. That's not something I expected to have in this sim. I thought, come on, of all things, new technology, you should be able to make a sim that's smooth at least. How is it that P3D could perform better than this? Makes me want to invest in it again and re-download everything. Okay, we should be a couple of minutes out now. So once we arrive, we'll enter the pattern for this. So we want 2.6 is our ideal runway. So we're kind of approaching in that direction right now. So 2.6 will just be a little bit to our right. So we'll swing, and I believe this is on the coastline here with the hills raised up next to it. So I will probably want to... It'll most likely be for 2-6 being that way. I want to come back down the coast. So we want to basically go ahead of it and come back down. For right traffic. So let's get ahead of our track here. There we go. Okay. Should be just ahead of us there. Should be nice and easy. Nice and easy. Four minutes. And we'll be there. Bit of a longer flight today than I normally do, but, you know, I do actually like doing flight adventures other than just reviews, so it's nice to get something different in here as well. Although I really want to head to Bryce Canyon and some of the other places down in Idaho and Wyoming, get some really interesting flying in, where we can do some spicy things. Take you guys with me up to Alaska. Have a whale of a time. See, don't you get a sinking feeling here as the terrain starts to get closer and looks like it's higher? You start to feel like you're actually sinking when you're actually climbing. It's a very weird experience. Easy to get disorientated. As God, those LODs are not nice. A Sobo, seriously, like, crank it up. Okay, so airport should be directly ahead of us. Oh, just allow us to peel ourselves across here so we can enter the right traffic. And we'll have to drop down there, of course. Siku traffic, November 403 Sierra X-rays type Piper RO. We are 5 miles out for landing. Going to be entering right downwind for 2-6. Okay. We're about to pass over our track now. So trying to get eyes on the airport. This is the one thing I like about this compared to P3D. Default airports, obviously not add-on ones, but finding the airport in 2020 is a lot harder and a lot more realistic, because you really have to look for it, because it could be anywhere. I think, as we're crossing the track now, it is... I'm going to end up basically here, so that's ideal. I can't see it. Is it up there? No, it's after this headland here, so it's, if I'm looking at the map correctly, it should be there. I think it's there, those buildings. Because we've got that lumpy headland there I'm looking at on my map. Yeah, that would make sense. Yes, runway. Okay. I think we're good. Yeah, that'll be it there. So we'll come about and we'll make our approach. It is in there somewhere. We'll find it. Okay. Yeah, there she is. Just see it past the tip of my wing. Right. Let's make this thing happen. Let's make the bacon. Siku traffic, 03 CX, we're entering right downwind 426 to land. Okay, come around here. We should get a confirmed visual on the airfield. That'll be it there. Okay, we got it in sight. It's up there on the headland. Let's roll the plane around. We're kind of entering mid-downwind here at altitude, so... Okay, we're actually good for gear deployment here, so that'll help us burn some speed. We'll go a bit long in our downwind and turn around for the approach. Let us burn some altitude off. Okay, we're burning speed now. And altitude. There we go. Heave back on the yoke right now because it wants to really put the nose down. So it's on top of the headland. Okay, we can do that. Okay, we're looking good. Some power on here as we drop down. What is the airport altitude? 350 feet. Okay, so we want to come in final approach about 600, 700. Okay, we're passing through 1,000. We want to stabilize here. This is going to be a really tight base to final. I can already feel it. Siku traffic, 03CX, returning base 26 for landing. Yeah, this is one of my sketchy bush turns to base to final because I was way too tight on my downwind. There she is. Siku traffic, November 03403 X-ray, turning final to land 26. I think that's it above us. Oh heck, this is more bush than I expected. Yes it is. Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't expect it to be up there. And me to be down here. This is more bush than I was hoping for. Hell yes. Okay, we're off the reservation. I'm having fun. This is a fantastic little airfield. Alright, alright, alright. Matthew McConaughey behind the yoke. Let's do this. Oh, those trees are nicely in the way, aren't they? Those trees are really in the way, buddy. Oh, this is a drop it in and hope. Woo! Hello, boys and girls. There we go. I had to hunker-dunk that one down. She did not particularly want to. I know, my excitement I forgot to call final. This is why I like flying in the bush where there's nobody else up there. You don't have to worry about telling everybody else you're flying. It's much easier. 03 Sierra X-ray back taxi 26. Okay. Let's get it onto the apron here. This space is lovely. I like this. Oh, wow. This is nice. Those trees are quite high. And this airport is quite high up. Perched on top of a mountain. Siku traffic, 03 Sierra X-ray is clear of the active runway. Taxi for parking. Oh, this is nice. This is real nice. How do I turn you off? No. How do I turn you off? Yeah. Okay, screw you. So, we're up here at Siku. Let's have a quick look around, shall we? Hello there. A little public bathroom, maybe? Flight office? Oh, hello there. Aww. Mummy and a baby and a dog. That's adorable. And kind of terrifying. Because it feels like they always look... Oh god, what's he doing? Is he extraditing him? Is this a CIA rendition? So there's some simulated water there on the runway, or some darker patches of material. A couple of little parked aircraft. Little bits of debris here, but that house looks like it's part of the modelled in structure here as well, and it is. Look at that. There's a boat, some cars, someone's house up here on the hill overlooking the airfield. With the deck. That'd be a gorgeous place to live, wouldn't it? Wow. More boats over here. Some houses. This is really pretty. This is a gorgeous little area. And especially when you couple in the fact that you've got the houses here that have been simulated, the roads in and out of the airfield. Everything down the hillside there. And the small town here. That is really pretty. Oh. I love that. This was worth the entire journey. Oh, there's more up at the top. Wow. That was a really lovely little flight. Like, yeah, it's about 45 minutes, but this is one of the things I love about flying. It's planning to go somewhere, going somewhere, and finding this new wonderful place in the world that you never thought you'd visit. This new piece of scenery, or airport bar, cafe. It all makes a difference. It's that little new patch of something different. And oh, to have a house up here, the views would be phenomenal. But for now, I guess they're doing pipeline. Well, S11 Sierra, Siku, is a gorgeous little place. Absolute joy to fly into. Even if it feels like you're hitting a carrier deck to land here. That is lovely. Definitely recommend. It cost me like £8 on the marketplace. Totally recommend getting this one. Well guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's flight, and I will see you next time. Bye.